What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and I hope that you are all doing well. God bless you guys. This is Unashamed Apologetics, and I am your host, J Rod. I hope that everything is going well, and I really wanted to react, to this video here tonight, and I also want to know your guys' perspectives. I got to tell you guys, with things that I've been seeing lately on the conduct of a lot of politicians and leaders, I can't believe this is where we have come to. And I'm going to touch on that a couple of times as we watch this video together. But uh, without further ado, guys, let's get into the video.
Terry, 5 months ago, you essentially became the new overlord of Venezuela, taking control of the country's oil revenues and giving foreign companies access to its oil and minerals. But you have provided no real transparency about where the money is going and who is benefiting from this arrangement.
Now, first and foremost, to call Secretary Rubio the new overlord of Venezuela, the disrespect of that statement is unreal. I can't believe that I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. That's crazy. I can't believe it.
I want to now talk a little bit about Mauricio Claver-Carrón. So, Mr. Secretary, you've known Mr. Claver-Carrón for many years, correct?
I don't know how many years, but sure.
Okay. We know that he was special envoy to Latin America. He's also a former lobbyist who supported your presidential campaign, I think in 2016. And now he runs a private equity firm that is seeking $1 billion in investments in Latin America. Apparently, he is seen as your right-hand man on Venezuela, but he's not a federal employee and he's not bound by rules about financial disclosures or conflict of interest. According to the Washington Post, he acts like a kingmaker in Venezuela, helping to determine which private companies get contracts and access. And that's concerning because in January, you gave confidential licenses for Venezuelan oil to a company that had been charged with bribery by the Department of Justice and employs a trader who gave $6 million to Trump's campaign.
So I don't know too much about the situation that's going on right now. I should look up on it more and do a little more research about that particular situation. However, when she was talking about this guy basically dipping his fingers into different affairs and deciding certain things, I mean, to me, that just feels like hypocrisy, because in the United States, we have similar things that happen with our, not just our leaders, but CEOs of corporations. The same things go on, or similar things go on. So I'm not saying either of it is okay, but, and I understand that we're talking about Venezuela right now, but what I'm trying to say is I never hear that type of language being directed at the influencers that we have here in our own country. That's more what I'm trying to say.
Some have said that Mauricio is the Jared Kushner of Latin America, but Mauricio has said that Jared Kushner is the Mauricio of the Middle East. So who is Mauricio, and why is he riding on private jets to Caracas with executives from firms trying to get contracts? And why is he texting Delcy Rodriguez on the regular? Who is he working for?
Okay.
I'm gonna allow you to respond. I'm setting this up because it looks unseemly that essentially you are taking Venezuelan oil money and sending it through a network of campaign donors, corrupt politicians,
That's
and
false.
lobbyists. And we
This happens all the time, though. Like, again, I understand this is about Venezuela. I get all that, and I understand, to an extent, the point she's trying to make. What I'm trying to say is I don't understand why this is not brought up about what goes on here in our own country, not just what's going on in Venezuela because of what happened recently, but what's happening here. Why don't I personally have not heard of things like this being brought up here. That's why I'm saying these things. If anyone who watches or sees this on replay, and you know something that I don't, then feel free to send me a message or put something in the comments, because I don't ever hear about this being talked about regarding our own country. That's why I'm kind of like, I feel like it's hypocrisy.
can't get any documentation on that. We don't have any receipts. So the question is anyone from the administration directly or indirectly benefiting from the contracts being doled out in Venezuela?
Is this where I get to answer?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Number one is the number of people. Mauricio is one of many people that are involved in what's happening in Venezuela. There's not a day that goes by that we don't have someone who's interested in what's happening in Venezuela for a variety of reasons. Nor is he the only person in the United States that directly contacts Delcy Rodriguez and others. There is a stampede of people that want to be involved in Venezuela. Mauricio is one of many, but by the way, not involved in Venezuela. I am not knowledgeable or know of any financial links he has to anybody in Venezuela.
So I'm going to reclaim my time, Mr. Secretary,
Well,
but I'm glad that you said that, because you have said these.
So she's not even going to let him finish? He didn't even finish what he was saying. Secretary Rubio let her finish what she was saying. I don't understand that.
Things you have shared these talking points before.
They're not talking points, they're the truth.
But it is hard to take your word for it when this is the most corrupt administration in American history.
Well, that's
we're
your
talking
opinion.
pardons for sale. We're talking about no bid contracts to those on Trump's family and friends plan. We're talking about a $1.8 billion slush fund. And I think that's corruption. The American people think that's corruption.
Let's talk about corruption for a second. An hour before Joe Biden left office, he gave a presidential pardon to Anthony Fauci. You want to talk about corruption? Why isn't that talked about more? The man that was supposed to protect the American people and help the world regarding COVID, and yet he had major participation regarding how the pandemic was handled and information that was given, and yet he got a presidential pardon from Joe Biden. You want to talk about corruption? Let's talk about corruption.
They want to know if you think that's corruption.
Okay. Number two, this goes right to the point of transparency. You're absolutely wrong about the way the money flows. It's pretty straightforward, and I'll share.
So I'm going to have to reclaim my time again, because the
what kind of
question about
process is this? They get to ask questions and you don't get to answer?
It's my time. The question
I don't know
about
about you. When is
corruption
it
is
my
really
time?
important.
So why am I
because
here if I don't
you
get to answer
can't
your
call
questions or your
I'm
defamatory statements?
reclaiming my time,
Reclaim.
Mr.
I want
Chair.
you to, but I want to reclaim. Well, do I get time? Because you
is
make
my
these
time,
defamatory
Mr. Chair.
statements and no one can talk here.
If
This
you
is crazy.
can't call out corruption in this country, then how can you call it out in another
Well, I can't say
country?
anything because you won't let me
That is
speak.
the question. It is
Wow.
about credibility, and your credibility meter is on empty right now. This
Yeah, but you're not even letting him respond to what you're saying.
Oil.
These guys
Who
just get to talk and I don't get to
who
answer?
determines the barrels of oil that get sold? How
But you
many
won't
of
let
them?
me
At
answer your
what
question. I
price
have an
does it
answer
get
for your
sold?
question.
Where is it going?
Oh, I get
will
it. They
let
have to
you.
use their time for me to answer
The
your
onus
question.
is on you to
a
prove
joke.
that there is no corruption happening.
Well, how do
That
I
is
prove it if
your
you don't let me talk?
responsibility as the Secretary of State. And you know what? Normally we would have access to that data. That's the
You do.
transparency.
You just don't know where to
But you're
look.
not showing us any receipt. Well, then show us.
But
Do you
you won't.
commit? Do you commit to coming back here with whoever the person is who is monitoring the sales of the oil? Bring them before this committee.
Can I
Show the
reclaim my
receipts.
time?
Have the documentation. You don't have this time yet. I'm talking about your credibility and evidence, not.
Guys, this would have been unthinkable even 15 years ago when I was a teenager. I remember when I was a teenager watching Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton running for president and everything connected with that. And I personally never saw things like this happen. It would have been unthinkable back then, which is not really that long ago. It would have been unthinkable to see a shouting match happen between two politicians in a setting like this, where they are in a government building having this type of conversation. It would have been unthinkable to see this happen, at least from what I have seen and experienced. And to see this happening now, not that long later, really is concerning. It makes me wonder what's going to happen even 5 years from now with the conduct and the order in which these type of meetings are conducted. I'm Yeah, this is really, really concerning. By the way, I also did a little bit of research on this representative here, Representative Dove or Dove, uh, and I saw that she seems to be an educated woman because she has degrees from three different academic institutions. And it made me realize that just because someone has an academic degree does not make them emotionally mature. I'm going to say that again. Just because somebody has an academic degree or multiple academic degrees, that doesn't mean that they are emotionally or mentally mature in certain areas. Because what she is doing right now is immature for somebody in the position that she holds. Therefore, I am disappointed in how she's presenting herself, trying to dominate the stage during this meeting. It doesn't make you look powerful. It doesn't make you look like you're in control. And this is extremely disappointing. And you guys will see what she does next. And to me, that proves my point that she just wanted to vent and have a shouting match and not get any type of feedback. You'll see in a second.
Not your talking points, because talking points are never a replacement for transparency.
I agree,
and
but that's what you're saying. You're
documentation.
saying talking
And
points
we
without
have
an answer.
We are 5 months into this and no audits. Zero visibility into the
100%
contracts that are
false.
awarded.
100%
Zero
false.
Unfortunately,
transparency about where the
Representative's
money
time has
is
expired.
going.
Representative Salazar is recognized.
Yes.
And giving contracts with no transparency
Can I
is
borrow your
exactly
time
the
to
reason
answer?
why you shut down USAID. So practice what you preach.
I-
I yield my
Oh,
time.
she gets to scream now too? Scream
Chairman,
and
can we
shout.
take down her words?
I'll give you some time. I'll give
Yeah.
you some of my time. Then you just
Okay.
just
Oh God,
change
what
the
kind of thing
energy.
is this? What is this?
Unbelievable, man. To my knowledge, okay. I've watched the depositions of Hillary and Bill Clinton. I've watched Hillary Clinton, a decent portion of Hillary Clinton's trial back in, oh gosh, was this back in 2012, I believe? Hold on, it's been a while, guys. Hillary Clinton trial, 2000, I think it was 2012. Okay, no, because I wanna know when. Okay, no, 2000. Okay, no, 2015. 2015. Sorry, I was a little off there. She did have a public uh she did testify publicly before the Senate and the House committees in 2013, but the House Senate committee that I'm thinking about regarding Benghazi was in 2015. So sorry for that, guys. I watched a decent portion of that that hearing or that committee meeting where they were questioning Hillary Clinton about everything that was going on with Benghazi, that 11-hour hearing. I watched a fairly decent amount of it. I mean, it's 11 hours. I watched maybe 3 to 4 hours of that committee. And this, from what I remember at least, this did not happen. This type of behavior was not acceptable. And so, again, to see this type of thing happen is just ridiculous.
You get asked questions for 5 minutes and you don't get time to answer. It's not a hearing.
I think you said clown
Like
show
a dunk
before.
tank.
I
What
don't,
is
I don't
this?
have to tell you. I don't. I'll
I've
give
even
you
used their time. How can I answer the question? They don't even give me time. I've had to use their time to answer your questions.
Yes.
All right, whatever.
All right. So I don't need to tell you that in my community, the city that I represent, the city of Miami, you're one of the most illustrious representatives, and that we're very proud of you, not only the Cuban Americans, but the Hispanic Americans in my
Why is she
community.
leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's going. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
Okay, see, that to me that proved the point I was making earlier. The fact that she leaves.
All right. So
she left right after this. She didn't even give the secretary a chance to respond. She didn't want to hear feedback. She just wanted to control it. She wanted to yell, scream, whatever. She was not interested in the conversation. To me, that came off as extremely unprofessional. There was no reason as to why she had to leave like that. And to me, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. You know what, guys? Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's keep going. Let's listen to his response.
we're going to talk about. I just want to
Let's listen to his
give you time
response.
to answer, and then talk about Venezuela and talk about Cuba. So let's go back to Venezuela. Let's start with that. You said that stabilization, recovery, and transition. Those are the 3 steps that the State Department was going to implement in Venezuela.
Another thing I want to point out is look how this representative is stressed compared to the other one and to others that I've commented on. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm just a little more traditional. Let me back this up real quick. maybe I'm just a bit more traditional in this sense, but I would think that if you're going to a governmental office for a meeting like this, that you should be dressing your best, not dressing casually. This is a general response I'm doing, by the way. I'm not necessarily targeting anyone in this video, but I've noticed lately that whenever there have been things like this at this level, people are dressed a lot more casual than I think they ought to be. I think that we should be dressing our best, especially when you're able to dress up like that, especially when you're able to dress up and look professional, like you're representing the office that you're in. I think that people should be conducting themselves in that manner. If you're unable to dress that way, that's one thing. But these guys in these meetings here, they're able to dress completely professional. They have the money to dress that way. And so I think that you should be dressing worthy of the office that you are holding. That's my perspective.
Venezuela. I believe that transition is the free and fair elections. The Venezuelan has a very robust opposition forces. We have Maria Corina Machado. So the big question here is that in order to avoid any type of misunderstandings like the one that we were hearing from my illustrious colleague, is that we should have free and fair elections that will bring rule of law, and the rule of law will then be able to bring in a lot of investments from the United States with transparency. Why can we not start right now the process of sending the message that we are going to establish, let's say next year, at the end of next year, a free and fair election sponsored with the United States or by the United States?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it all ties together, so I'm going to try to use the...
It all ties together,
Okay.
Correct.
So let me first say about the oil stuff, which is a bunch... I don't even remember half the stuff that was being screamed at me because most of it not entirely is false. Here's what happens. When there are sales of oil from Venezuela, they used to, sell it at a discount because of sanctions, and they had to do all kinds of evasive matters. Now they're able to sell it at market price to great benefit to the Venezuelan people. That money and those proceeds are deposited in a treasury blocked account at Citibank. That account, by the way, is audited by KPMG. KPMG has been hired and paid by the Venezuelan government out of those funds to audit every single expenditure. There is a list that's been agreed to by both sides, the Venezuelan side and the U.S. side, on what the allowable expenditures are for. So, for example, they've used 250.
I need to go to 3 other countries, so I'm not sure what the chairman wants to do, but I understand that you're answering her question.
Oh, but this is but it's tied to your point because
Right.
they'll be able to do the other ones quickly thereafter. Again, I know this is outrageous because I have to use your time to answer
That's
questions. when
correct,
she
but I
leaves.
need to serve the community. I need to
Okay.
ask you about other countries. So
Well,
then
bottom
tell me.
line is the money that's spent in Venezuela is audited by KPMG. It only goes to certain determined points, and it doesn't go to the individual benefit of anybody. Those are just false,
So
outrageous
when can we
statements.
pivot to free and fair elections?
So the second point is on the transition phase, which is the third phase. The second is
Correct.
stabilization and recovery. Part of the recovery phase is creating the conditions for a free and independent press. You need to have independent press in order to have free and fair elections.
That's it for this video, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Let me know if there are any other political videos you guys would like me to react to. This is something that I want to do because I think that we need to be made aware of what's going on and the discussions being had and what's happening. I think that this is important. And so, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.